like, how can I expect people to sit and empower me like perra, queen, if I don't show them my vulnerable side?
Gotcha.
So I love croquetas and I cry 3 times a week.
That's it. That's all right. We'll wrap this up.
Okay.
So I get 10% for being part of this. I just want 10%. That's it.
I'm able to connect with women this way, in a real way. I think that's probably makes it the most powerful song I've ever released to date.
Go ahead. Tell me about your drunk kickball, please. I want to hear this. About the time you tore your ACL?
It was like right before the pandemic. My friend had a birthday party, a drunk kickball tournament for her fiance, which was adorable. There were children, dogs, dominoes, Colombian hot dogs, and my uncoordinated ass playing kickball. And they picked me last on the team, so I felt some type of way about it. So I went in, and in my defense, I got further on base than anybody on my team at that moment. This is my one experience playing sports, like, ever. And then I go for a fly ball. My ACL's torn. I did not want to believe that it was torn. I was on it for like a week and a half until I went to get the MRI. And they said it's torn, so I had to get surgery right as the pandemic, because things were closing up. And I wasn't like, do I get the surgery? Do I not get the surgery? I want to dance? I want to tour? I want to actually use the platform that Reina De La Cancion gave me.
I hear you, yeah.
So I had to get surgery right then and there. I got lucky that they let me get my surgery at Doctor's Hospital before. Right, literally, he put me in as like an emergency to try to wheeze me in because all the hospitals were closing. So thank God I spent pretty much majority of the pandemic recovering. So I didn't have to stop work. I did have to stop working because of obvious reasons.
So wait, are you still on the kickball team?
Fuck no.
Why not?
Because that was my one attempt at trying to play sports and tore an ACL.
Wait, can I say that the beautiful thing about this podcast is that we always have good feedback from Erica, and her laugh is great. So whenever you want to land a joke, don't worry, she got your back. You'll land it every time. So it's great.
Perfect.
So, Vikina Music, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the dungeon. So I don't know whether or not I should start with an introduction in this podcast. I don't know what I'm doing. This is the first time I've done a podcast.
Okay, well, you just wing it. That's life.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That's what I've done most of my career.
And it's going pretty well for you.
Eventually it does.
But it's been going well for you for a while.
Yeah. Well, we are reaching new heights every day and accomplishing new things and getting to do stuff like this on a Friday. This is my life.
Exactly. You just get to...
If
you're invited to something, you want to go?
Yeah, I go.
Yeah, let's go. That sounds good. I'm interested in that.
Yesterday, I got paid to dress up like Selena and imitate Selena. That was my Thursday.
I saw that. What was that about? Wait, what was that about?
So there's a show on Univision called Tu Cara Me Suena, where celebrities imitate other celebrities. Entonces, it was a commercial. Basically, I was a glorified and well-paid extra, but dressed as Selena.
That's awesome. I was like, she landed an HBO special to perform as Selena. I was in.
I wanted it to be. I thought I was actually going to get to like impersonate her and sing and dance, but I was like stage managers and like makeup, but dressed as Selena. That was the whole bit.
That's awesome, though.
It's going to be a funny commercial when it comes out. And the fact that my face will be on Univision in Mexico for a few months, that's nice too.
Hell yeah.
I'll take it.
So Vikina, I met you through Hector at Studio Center.
Yes, you took my picture at Blue Martini.
I did take your picture at Blue Martini randomly.
I love that picture.
Yeah, I have a couple of cool pictures of you, actually. Some that you've never seen, but I remember... Zoom in. Let's just go with that, guys.
We'll go with that. All right. Okay.
No, but seriously, like I remember watching you perform and being like, wow, she's super talented. And more. Then the next time I really saw you perform was Reina De La Cancion, which I was completely fangirling.
I've been coming into my own a little bit.
Yeah, no, but it was not only admirable, but I was like, wow, this girl's owning the stage. She's killing it. Like, and this show is gonna, that's it. It's gonna send it to the top.
Yeah, it's definitely been a catapult. And it was rough for me when I tore my ACL right at the beginning of the pandemic, and everything, all of the momentum that I had built, that I was building, was like, skirt, recalibrate.
But do you think that was because of the ACL? Because just, I think COVID threw everybody off.
It was everything all encompassing.
Yeah.
I think it was like probably one of the hardest or harder periods of my life, because I had made a lot of sacrifices up until that point to like, even just to go on to that show. I quit my job and I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I make money performing, but I also had like my day job too. So I took a leap of faith. I wasn't performing with that band anymore. I wasn't at my day job, and I was living from music and like just performing and opportunities and things for the first time ever again. And it was like, halt. So I think a lot of those things kind of just snowballed throughout the entire pandemic, and the healing and the everything and the ethic that I had to kind of put in to overcome, and just utilize that time for things that were things that were productive is the word I'm looking for.
Gotcha. So you've been pursuing your passion now for a living. What were you doing before? Why do you laugh?
No, because it feels so great. It feels so great right now to be able to say that.
What were you doing before?
I've done a lot of things.
Okay.
I feel like you have to, as a creative, you hold a lot of like odd jobs and odd gigs and things throughout time. But I think being into digital marketing for myself, right? Mm-hmm. Creating a digital presence for myself, I kind of fell into the love of that digital marketing world and how that works. Mm-hmm. So when I was looking for jobs at one point in my life, because there have been times in my life where I've just been living off of music full time. I maybe wasn't making good money, but I was doing it, and then I got a job, and then I kind of always went in waves, because I think my inner realist was like, get it together, like have one foot on the ground always. So to just like jump, and sometimes you fall back, but then you pick yourself back up. And e-commerce was a field that did really well for me.
Okay.
Not my own website, unfortunately, not yet. But I was working for other people that had their own websites, Shopify primarily, and the digital marketing aspect. Like they were like, oh, they needed a banner for the website. I'm like, I can make a graphic. I did my own cover artwork for me, and I could edit that video. I've had to edit videos for me, and then I kind of found a home in there during the pandemic when all of my gigs kind of went to a halt. I looked into e-commerce again, because I just started I had to look for a job, because I wasn't going to be performing. I had a torn ACL. What could I do? I could sit in front of a computer and stuff.
Hack away. And what drives you now? You said that there's plenty of times that you've been up and you've fallen down. What continues to propel you forward? Where do you find your motivation? Where do you find your sense of purpose?
Refusing to fail. Refusing to let anything stop me, because I think I made a realization a long time ago in my many calibrations that as long as you're doing it at whatever capacity you can do it, you're still doing it. So even if it's just Tuesdays that you go to that acting class, but Tuesdays you're an actor, you're still an actor. Mm-hmm. You may not do it every day, but you're still doing it,
Gotcha.
So I think that's pretty much what's always driven me to just keep going, because this is what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So if I can do it 2 days a week, if I can do it 1 day a week, if I can do it 6 days a week, I just want to keep doing it.
What do you say to people who struggle to pursue their passions? There's so many people, we were talking about a little while ago, there's so many people who are talented, so many people who have gifts, but then either they're too shy or they're scared to put themselves out there. What advice do you give them, or what do you tell them to encourage them?
You don't want it bad enough.
Okay.
That's the truth, because there are multiple obstacles that hold people back, like finances and like other priorities and things that are on their plate too. Yes, I have to give that to people too. And those are challenges that I've face and that we all kind of face. But I think it always goes down to that rule of just do it at whatever capacity you can. Because there's always going to be that 1 hour of a week where you can sit in front of the computer and the keyboard and play around with it. Like, if you want to do it, you're going to do it. So the struggle is in you making that decision that you want to do it, I think, is what it really boils down to.
So you think people just lack that ability to make that decision actually, even if it's like you're saying, 1 day a week, 1 hour, just whatever time you have to dedicate yourself to your craft to do it. Just do it.
You just got to really want to do it. Because I could quit tomorrow and nobody would care. Nobody would care.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I could say, hey guys, I'm pregnant. I don't want to sing anymore. And this is...
Congratulations, by the way.
I'm not pregnant. I could say, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Nobody would care. My friends would still like me. And I think I had a boyfriend a long time ago that like asked me that question. He's like, if you stop singing tomorrow, I feel like your mom would like you, your friends would like you, everybody, but would you still like you?
And what's the answer to that question?
Well, I think it's easier to answer that question now on the side of my career that I'm on. I think I put a lot of weight on myself and like me accomplishing this dream and always saying, I'm Vicky, the singer, for most of my life, that if I had not done this, I don't think I would have been okay with it. Now I'm okay. Like if I stop singing tomorrow, I know a million other things that I want to do because I've done this now.
Gotcha. Are you happy with where your career is today?
I'm very pleased.
You're pleased.
I'm very pleased. I am enjoying the hell out of the moment that I'm living right now.
Okay.
So I'm never going to be satisfied. I'm always going to want more. Like I'm never going to feel like I made it. But I feel like I've done it for a long enough period of time and done enough cool things where if I was to look back on this time, I'd definitely look back on it fondly.
Gotcha.
I want to do more though.
So what are some things, like let's say 5 years from now, where does Vikina want to be?
Somebody asked me this. This
is a job interview, girl. 5 years from now, where do you want to be in this company?
5 years from now, what's your 5-year plan?
Yeah.
I'd like to have a Las Vegas residency.
Awesome.
I'd like to have a Las Vegas residency. Maybe not for like too many years, but like, good just to say I did. I'm very like that. I'm very like a check things off my list kind of lifer.
Okay.
I just want to do it. I want to try it. I want to say I did it in this life. So I want to go on tour. So I would hope that in 5 years I'd have a tour under my belt. It's easy to like book 3 shows and call it a tour.
Yeah.
So I think I can do that.
I think I can
totally do that.
do that.
I'm gonna do that. So I want to go on tour. If it takes me overseas, like Europe, oh my God. If I could tour Asia one day, that's when I know I feel like that's when I know like I really made it.
What is your presence like in like, let's say Mexico or in South America?
So it's very strange. I have a song that I released 5 years ago when I was first starting off like Vikina.
Okay.
It was a bachata mixed with trap, which I thought was so cool because I like anything that's fusion, And this producer, he was very well known in the bachata community. I am not a bachatera by any means. I just thought that it was a cool fusion.
Gotcha.
Lo and behold, this song has like 700,000 streams from people in like Ukraine, in Spain, in Mexico, in Japan, dancing to this song because it has become like a bachata community cult classic.
Really? And you have no idea how? It just happened?
Well, I do know that the producer that produced it is well known in that community. So people that are looking for that, I mean, Latin dance and bachata is very exotic in Europe. So like Western European, Eastern European people, they're like, they'll go to bachata classes on Wednesday like you would go to martial arts.
Gotcha. That's crazy, right? Yeah, actually, when I was working in Los Angeles, I worked at Children's Hospital of LA, and there was a Japanese cardiac intensivist. She worked in the cardiac unit, but she was an MD.
Very intense.
Yeah, she worked in pediatric ICU, and she's the person who's responsible for their hearts, basically. So she was Japanese, little Yuki Yasaka. Shout out to Yuki if you still exist. I know you're out there somewhere, but Yuki Yasaka could dance salsa like you have no idea. And I was like, how did you learn? She's like, oh, in Japan, this is big. Like I used to go out all the time and salsa. So
well, there's a big concert that happened. It was like in Curacao. That it was like the Salsa Giants. It's a DVD that it goes on. It plays in restaurants. And there was this girl, Nora, and the Japanese orchestra or the Japanese symphony or something like that. Salsa. And jamming. Look it up tonight. Have a drink and listen to Nora. Let me look. Can I look it up?
Go for it.
She's Japanese. Singing salsa. Nora.
No, and part of the reason, I mean, beyond all of this, the reason I wanted to invite you on here, besides like inspiring people, and I want to see Nora, so go ahead, don't worry, I'm just going to talk a little bit. I wanted to bring you on here because I not only want to know you as the artist, because I think a lot of people see your social media presence, and people who watch this are probably going to be fans of yours already, or people who are getting to know you. So two things. One is, I haven't even asked you to introduce yourself, so I think that's a good start. But number two, I want to get to know a little bit about the woman behind Vikina. Because one thing is your presence on the stage, and one thing is, you know, the croqueta queen, PerraCoin, and now you've become a fitness enthusiast a little bit. By the way, this is a bag of croquetas. Check it.
We are so many things. We are not one thing.
Amen. I agree with you.
We are not one thing, and I was one thing for a long time. I was a singer.
And that's it.
I remember, you know, I'll tell you, cracking the shell, right?
Yeah.
8th grade. It was this retreat, and we wrote palancas to each other, right? You know what those are. Whatever.
No, please tell us what palancas are,
but
please.
Whatever. You write like a letter, something nice.
Let me ask you something. I'm going to start sitting like this so I can...
But I'm just cheating front.
Okay,
this is the way I've been taught.
Oh, really? Is that what you... what do you mean cheating? Wait, what's this cheating?
Cheat front is always to have your face to the camera, because if I'm like this...
You know who else kind of sat like that? Alex.
So I'm going to start sitting like this, people.
Yeah, that's what professionals do.
I'm not a professional.
You're gonna.
I'll sit right here and talk to you.
See, because I want to get my best angle to all the camera. It's like I don't know. My bun, is it nice?
No, that camera's not gonna get you at all.
It has my hair treatment in it. It's not Monet.
So go back to your palancas. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
You have to write something nice for everybody. All 70 kids in the class. But Vicky, you're a good singer. I like the way you sing. You sing really pretty. I remember going home that day and crying. Because I'm like, that's it?
That's it.
Nobody had anything nice to say. So, I love the platform that being a singer gives me. But I hate, like, the empty conversation. I'm like, I see you on Facebook. I see you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
I see you're like that. I mean, I love the support. So how can I be so pesada and not enjoy that? But I like deep conversations, and I don't get to have those with most of the human connections that I make.
Why do you think that is? Just because people just see you superficially and assume that they know who you are?
Yeah. And just because of the nature of the environments in where I'm interacting with people, like at a festival or, you know, backstage somewhere, I'm running around. People just want to take a picture or something. So I have to try my best now to connect with people through my words, through my music, which I did probably for the first time with my most recent song, Animales, is one of like the more raw or open records I've ever done. Because I realized, I'm like, how can I expect people to sit and empower me like perra, queen, if I don't show them my vulnerable side?
Gotcha.
So I love croquetas, and I cry 3 times a week.
That's it. All right. We'll wrap this up.
I'm it.
So I'll start with this. What was your upbringing like? Where did you grow up, and what was your childhood like?
Well, we're going deep.
Yeah, we're gonna go deep. I don't.
This is why you give me croquetas.
Yeah, this is. So obviously, this podcast. I mean, I'm a mental health professional, so I want to dive in and understand people and use this platform not only.
I should have known.
Not only to be nosy, not only to be nosy, but for real, to empower people. So this is exactly what you were just talking about. How can you be vulnerable, and how can you empower people and show them who you are? So you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So welcome.
You know, when artists talk about being a martyr and like sainthood, it's because we have to openly hurt and experience and process what that's like and come up with a solution in order to teach it to others through our lyrics and our songs. And that's why I feel most of us end up feeling like these icons and stuff that they portray on some of their art, because it's a struggle. The constant affliction. I think that back to your question, my childhood and my upbringing was lovely. Two super loving parents, polar opposites. I say my dad taught me how to live. My mom taught me how to survive.
How so? What do you mean by that?
Well, my mom's the one who was on top of things and kept everything in check. I think my mom still to this day is like, did you make that doctor's appointment? Things like that. And my dad's definitely the one that always taught us how to enjoy life. Everything in between, which should be majority of it. So I think I was very blessed. I started singing very early on, and of course everybody loved it as a little girl. I'm like, ay, mija.
Yeah, I saw you've posted videos of you as a child, like in a competition.
Of course, it's adorable when you're a child doing it. When you're 17 years old and you're saying, Mom, I'm going to a studio in downtown by myself with my yellow bug.
With your yellow Volkswagen bug?
In my yellow Volkswagen bug. I'm going to go downtown to a studio session. Mom, is super casual. It's super normal. And my mom's like, what?
Would she go with you, or she let you go on your own?
Well, there was a huge battle between us of like whether or not I could go alone or she would go with me. In the beginning, of course, she always went with me. But eventually, as I got older and I had a little bit more freedom and I probably could lie easier, I would go to the studio sessions because I also didn't want to go acompañada with my mom. I didn't want to be... women, as it is, have a hard time being taken seriously in those rooms, let alone apareciendo with my mom. That's what I thought. Was I right? Maybe 50% of the time. Maybe some of the times it would have been better to be with my mom. But I've always wanted to be my own person walking in the room. I've always hated being la novia de him, the girl, that guy's girl. Like, you walk in the room at the studio and you see a girl, and like I have even naturally, just because of it's just conditioning, right? Mm-hmm. Just walk into the room and there's a girl there. Yo me imagino que es la novia de alguien. Yeah. Lo menos que me voy a imaginar is that she's there to make music, because there's so few of us.
Is there really that few women that are out there making music?
Well, there's a lot more now, I think most of them are singers and songwriters, very few engineers and producers.
Gotcha. So the majority of the people in the room that are running the room are men.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The ones that hold the key to the studio, the ones that run the gear, that have the sessions. Most of the time it's men, yeah. There are very talented engineers. Like I'll tell you, I'm a hell of an engineer now. I wasn't before, but I've sat in through so many sessions and watched so many slow dudes, work the mouse. Then I'm like, can you...
What do you think it is that keeps women outside of those roles? Because it seems like a gender neutral environment. I mean, you're making music, you're producing music, you're engineering. It's almost like... It's
a very, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's a very overshadowed role. It doesn't get a lot of applause.
Oh, okay.
And in my industry, it takes so much grit and so many hours and so much rejection and so much picking up and getting up and putting in the time that to not be celebrated like an artist does on stage, that's a hell of a moment. I'll tell you, I signed up for this because I love that feeling on stage.
It's a rush.
It's a rush.
Where else in your life have you felt that rush?
That one time playing kickball.
That's it.
That's it. No. It's a rush. It is. I've never felt anything like it. To have to control the energy, to be the literal director of vibes for that moment in time, and to carry it, and the applause and the love and the adrenaline. When you're a producer or an engineer, you don't really get that. You don't get that applause.
Yeah.
Maybe when there's like award shows and they give special awards to producers and stuff. So I feel like a lot of women especially are probably like, I want to. That's what I think.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. So, because you're talking about this being like, it gives you a high, right? And it drives you, but that also comes with a lot of pressure. No, before you step on stage, what are you feeling?
It depends how prepared I am. I'm always excited to get on stage. Always. I'm never like, I don't want to. I'm always like, let's go. Can I go now? Can I go yet? Can I go in 5 minutes? Can I go in 10 seconds? Can I go now? I'm always excited to be on there. The pressure, I think, comes from the moments leading up to the show. Like the week of all the planning, the outfits that you had planned for for the dancers, that it fell through because the designer said, I'm not going to make it in time. So then you're rushing to try to invent other outfits, and the printing company that you were going to print on, it won't print on that paper, and the set DJ, the mix doesn't work, and the system that you were using your activation was expired, and you have to reactivate, and you have 0 time, and it's like, that is the pressure. That's the non-fun part.
Gotcha. When has there been a moment where you wanted to quit? You were like, you know what, this isn't working.
Right before Reina.
Why is that? Why did you want to quit?
Because I had made a promise to myself when I was 17, and I decided to pursue music full time, or not full time, but just pursue it. I get that's at the point where you're like, I'm gonna be a singer when I grow up. Okay, I'm growing up. So when I made that decision to do it, I said, okay, by 25, if I don't have anything solid to stand on, I'm gonna get a grip. So
when you say get a grip, you mean like a
job. I can still sing for fun, but I will get a career, something that will sustain me. Exactly. Gotcha. Not that I'm never gonna sing again. I love music; it's my passion. But I knew that if by 25 I didn't have anything solid to stand on, I would get a grip. Our friend Hector, we had these investors that were gonna buy the studio, and we had these really nice plans that we were working when I was 25. So when I turned my 25th birthday, I was like, well, I've got something.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get a grip yet.
Okay.
But before my 26th birthday, that fell through. Like most plans and promises and almost chances happen. Just never mind. Something backs out, somebody pulls out, whatever. And at my 26th birthday, I was full depression. That's when I was like, oh shit, okay, now I have nothing.
When you say depression, what were you feeling?
Well, I think it was I'm also what's the word that I'm looking for? I feel like I'm not I'll cover it. I'll conceal the depression by just being busy, But I know that I was depressed because I was just kind of coming to terms with the idea that it wasn't going to happen. And I, along with all of the other pressures, knowing that I am more than just Vicky the singer, wanting to be Vicky the mom one day, wanting to be, Vicky the successful independent woman, I was like, I need to accomplish that more than just hold on to this. So let me try to take care of that and get a grip on that, and then maybe we'll figure this out. So that's when I first got into e-commerce. It was when I got my first job. It was just like a customer service role. I swear. It was on Craigslist.
Okay.
My boss, he was British. He had a weight loss company. He sold weight loss food. And he hired me as a customer service rep. I'm like, do you have customer service policies, or are we just winging it? And he's like, no. He's like, no, basically we're winging it. So I made policies, you know, and then he fired his graphic designer and he needed a new banner for the website. I'm like, I can make you a banner. And I'm like, is anybody running your social media? I can run your social media. And then I'm running the social media. And he's like, do you want to maybe do a course on Facebook ads? And I'm like, cool, I'll take a course on Facebook ads. And then I just kind of like learned a little bit more and more. And I was there for like probably like 2 years. And it was chill. I was still able to perform on weekends and do that. And that's when I started kind of settling into the idea of maybe not doing music at the capacity that I wanted to or that I dreamed of. But that's when I first kind of came into terms with like just being okay with it there, at whatever capacity it was. I can't tell you that I didn't go through like my waves of depression because I feel like so much of my identity was put into being Vicky, the singer, that I had to reshape myself.
Isn't it interesting how, and this happens to men and women, we set up these dates in our mind of what we should have accomplished by a certain time. Right? And I think it happens with women and families and children and stuff like that. Obviously there's a biological clock that exists, you know. If you're a woman that's 40, now you're getting into a high risk pregnancy. But I think for me, by the time I'm 30, I should have this, this, and this. And then we get there and life has thrown all these different issues at us. And now we have to learn to pick up the pieces and still move forward. Was that difficult for you?
My whole life has been a timeline. I feel like as a female, we all have that. My whole life has been things that I want to do by a certain age, and none of them, I've done none. I did the opposite. I thought I did a movie. I've done them all opposite, except for have a kid, which I knew I want to do. I know I want to do. I hope I get to do. But so much of my brain and my framework has been changing. Like, okay, hey, if I don't, maybe it's still okay. You know, like, because I've already not done so many things that I swore I needed to do by a certain time, that everything's going to be okay and everything's going to happen the way that it's supposed to happen. But I think a huge part of it has been like my identity crisis and my career being so in with each other. Like, maybe this would be a fun question to ask you, but like, describe yourself in 5 words without like using your career. Describe who you are in 5 words that describe who you are without using your career. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I don't even know how I'm gonna
spontaneous, impulsive, fun, energetic, and ambitious. That's it.
Spontaneous and impulsive.
Bro, ADHD, throw that in the mix, and that's the umbrella that exists over everything else, is just ADHD.
Like, let's just start a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is it right here. This is it right here. These people are like, they pray that I don't shower every day because that's where I get that's why I have a literal board.
I write my best songs in the shower.
There you go. You see, I have this thing called shower thoughts, and it's a little board that's almost like you can write while you're in the shower.
And it writes when it's wet like that?
Yeah, you could just write. So I've written poems. I've written things to do. I need to go to the bank. I need to do this. I need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I've written ideas for things that I want to do, goals that I have.
I have one of those on my fridge.
There you go.
I'm like, we need Drano.
Same thing, right? Wait. So go ahead. Define yourself in 5 words without.
Shit.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna forget.
No. I got ADHD, but my memory's pretty good.
I'm brave. I am a planner, but I'm also spontaneous. So damn it, I don't know. I'm brave. I think I'm funny. I'm adventurous. Yeah, definitely adventurous. And
a singer.
Sassy.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm very sassy. I think I said 5.
Yeah,
I said a 5.
You said 6, but it's fine. I'll take it.
Well, because spontaneous and a planner, that's like my yin and yang, though.
But you
I
can
love like today. I spontaneously did a podcast. I had nothing planned for Friday, but we decided to do this,
and it worked out.
And I like the fact that today, my Friday, I get to be spontaneous. But on every other day, I'm perfectly planned to the T.
You're locked in.
Locked in. So I love days like this where I can be spontaneous.
It gives you life, no? When you could just live and just do something new and different and interact with it. This has been such a pleasure for me. I'm 8 episodes in or something like that. But when's the last time I sat down and had a conversation with you? It's been a while, right? So I keep on having people who were friends and people who I still see on social media and who I still hit likes or once in a while throw a comment, but not sit down and have an actual conversation. And to me, like, this is a great excuse to do it.
Totally. Or answering questions I haven't asked myself in a minute.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm waiting. I got to flip this around one day and be like, I got to have one of these people interview me so I can feel like I'm on the spot. You were talking earlier about all these different things and this timeline that you have. Mm-hmm. What sacrifices have you made on this journey? When you're pursuing your passion, you got to push people aside. You got to push things aside. You have to push relationships aside. You have to push friendships aside. So what sacrifices has Vikina made in order to pursue her passion?
All of the above. Every day is a new challenge. Every day is a new sacrifice where, important moments and things in your friends' lives. Like one of my dearest friends, she's one of my best friends, my oldest standing friends. I couldn't go to her baby shower because she put it on 305 day. And 305 day is pretty much my national holiday for the time being.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be a part of that day for her so bad, but I'm able to be a part of it somehow else. Like I was able to be a part of like her gender reveal party and we shot a video. Did you see that? It was we acted like Walter Mercado.
No, I haven't.
Oh my
seen
God,
it.
You haven't seen it? I dressed up as Walter Mercado and I predicted the sex of the baby with a crystal ball.
I did see it. I saw it.
But those are ways that I can still be a part of their life.
I thought you were putting on like a new character. I was like,
No.
I don't know what she's coming up with right now.
But I love it.
Yeah. I was like, this is great. So I hope she keeps doing it. So, but go ahead.
So I can't be there for some events that I would really like to be at, and like the little chuchi Latina mommy in me wants to be at every event with my friends and wants to be the best friend and wants to be the most supportive and there for all of the things. And sometimes I get locked up in the studio and my friend is having a crisis and she sends me paragraphs and I'm in the zoned out for hours before I ever got to it in the La Pobre, things like that, as simple as that. I mean, I don't think I have to go into like how hard it is for somebody in my career path to like find a partner that supports the life that we live, because it's difficult.
Yeah.
I don't think I have to go into that, but it is.
No, let's go into it.
I know you're gonna force it.
No, so tell me, what do you mean by that?
It's.
And I'm not gonna force it if you don't want to talk about it.
It's. You have to have really thick skin to be in my industry, and then you have to expect your partner to have that equally same skin, thick skin. Like late nights at the studio, the fact that I'm like working with new men on a regular basis, like random J whatever and J Quiles and J this and J that are all in my phone book, and you have to be cool with it, So that's one thing. And that late night hours and the traveling and the shows and the environments that I have to put myself in, you have to just be really comfortable with your partner. But aside from that, like I have this one fan that like has been following me since Reina. He's been a very devout, very attentive, always on every live. He's messaged me paragraphs about his mental health and losses and things that he's had, and I've tried my best to be receptive to that. Like this person's opening up to me and sending them love, sending them words like thank you, but never did I send any like weird or other mixed signals. So this fan, when they found out that I was in a relationship, started like going on my boyfriend's page and like liking old pictures of his, and like my boyfriend just thought it was weird, that this like person that like is clearly has a intense attachment to me.
Gotcha.
Is now liking his pictures and like going through his page. He's like, I'm gonna block him. And I said, I think that's a mistake. That's a mistake because you have a public page. First of all, you're dumb. He's just find another page to follow you. But then this person began harassing us from like ghost accounts, messaging my friends, messaging his business page, messaging his father, friends on his cycling team, because he's so upset that he believes that my boyfriend has soured my relationship with this fan, and what he doesn't understand is that his reactions are what has soured the relationship between me and this fan. I had no issue with the fan, and I have a boyfriend. I'm sorry that this happened, but your reactions are what my boyfriend has to deal with that.
No, you don't have to be sorry. You're living your life.
I'm living my life. I have nothing to be sorry. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you an explanation of why I have a boyfriend, or like not. It was very unhealthy, and I feel very sorry for him and whatever he must be going through. But I feel sorrier for my partner that has to deal with it.
Gotcha.
Like, that's, why should he have to deal with that? That's not fair to him.
Of course.
And I can only brace myself for impact for like the other things that will happen and come about that he's gonna have to be my rider for, and we ride with each other. That's the point.
Of course.
But when you ride on a roller coaster, it's a different ride.
Yeah, there's slow up hills, but there's crashing down hills, and you're spinning upside down sometimes. Well, but if he's there for you, he's there for you.
Yeah, he is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he is. He's great. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. Oh my God, I'm so lucky.
No, because
right
I
now.
could imagine it. Like you said, it takes a strong individual to deal with everything that this encompasses.
And most of the time, like, it's like the beginning of it, they like the idea, they love the idea. Oh my gosh, she's a singer, she's on stage, how cool, this and that. But like 6 months down the road is when, or like, you know, towards the year mark is where things start getting like, oh no, I don't like this. No, I'm not cool with that. Oh, I don't want you to go on that trip. I don't want you to wear that. I don't want you this. I don't want you that. And then I'm like, but this is who I was when you signed up. And now you're trying to change it because you no longer like it. And
doesn't that, what you're saying right now applies to so many relationships?
Tell me more.
Yeah. So many people begin a relationship and you're enthused and excited and infatuated with the person who's sitting across from you. But then as time goes on, sometimes, whether it's the male or the female, it goes both ways. People start to want to control. Oh, I'm going to go on a trip with my girls. No, I don't want you to go on a trip. Oh, no, I don't like that friend of yours.
I don't like that friend of yours.
Right? So you have to decide then, well, which one is the healthy relationship? Is this person trying to guide me the right way? Or is this just a matter of control and lack of trust?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of men and women experience this in a relationship.
Yeah, most people do. And then it gets toxic.
And then it gets toxic.
And then it gets toxic.
And then people don't know when to exit. So that's... And I
have a new song called Animales out on all digital platforms.
Why?
Covers this topic greatly. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the song.
The song?
So we get a better understanding of it.
Sure.
Because you said you were being raw and vulnerable when you wrote this whole album, right?
Well, it was just that song. I've never written an album yet. That's another one on my 5-year plan.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. It's so hard. I think it's because most people go their whole lives without figuring out who they are, and I'm expected to be like, this is me.
No, but one album doesn't define you.
I know, but it's your first album, so it's the one with the most pressure.
Bullshit. That's bullshit.
I know, I'm gonna have one soon.
Oh, all right, go ahead. Relax.
But this song, it was a very vulnerable record, and it came out of a time where I had just broken up out of a very toxic relationship, unhealthy situation. And I came into the studio session, and I remember I was in full avoidance. Like, I had just invented PerraCoin, right? So I'm a CEO now. And I'm like, we're going to write a song. I come into the session. We're going to write a song called Inversionista. And it's going to be about being a bad bitch. And the songwriter, I don't know if she's a witch or what her deal was, but she was like, no. And she puts on this moody beat. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to go here. Yeah. I do not want to go here. This bitch gonna make me cry, and I'm not trying to go there. But we together birthed this song, and it was something that she was actively going through also. And the song is essentially about getting to a point in the relationship and in the fight where it's almost like you're animals. Because there's no logic at that point anymore in the fight. It's just like a dominance thing, and it's not fun anymore. And it just gets to a point where it's just not healthy. It's not human. It is like, it's gotta go. Yeah. So I think I had finally reached that point in the relationship that I was in, to be able to walk away, because things eventually got to a point where it was physical. And I was...
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Thank God, I wasn't sure I was going to go there either.
Yeah, that was perfect timing.
I was not going to go there.
I love that you look at the cameras. No, it's okay.
And it was probably the most humbling experience I've ever gone through in my life.
What, the actual writing of the song, or
the violence, and the releasing myself of it through music, which was really liberating. Now, being able to talk about it, because I don't talk about it, but being able to share about it in music and at least kind of open the conversation with other women, I've been able to notice and realize how many other women have gone through a similar story, and some of the baddest bitches I know. And I think it was the shame of having it allowed to happen to me. Mm-hmm. I think that's what really I held on to for a long time, because I'm like, me? That's gonna happen to me? I would never let that happen to me. That's on some like submissive girls. No. And some of the most powerful women I know that have gone through those feelings, those moments of helplessness, because that's what it feels like. Mm-hmm. Utter, complete helplessness. And that for your partner and the person that you love to put you in that situation, it's just animalistic. It's just not healthy. It's not normal. It's not acceptable by any means. So I was able to kind of talk about that a little bit, and I'm still talking about it, and I'm still opening up little by little about it, at my own pace. Mm-hmm. But I love that this song exists now. I love that I'm able to connect with women this way.
For sure. In
a real way.
Yeah.
I think that's probably makes it the most powerful song I've ever released to date.
It's gonna impact people.
I hope so.
Sitting here in front of you, I can tell you it's gonna impact people. I hope so.
I get a lot of messages from people and girls that are going through breakups and stuff now, that even they relate to it. I mean, I don't have any real verbiage in there about any physical violence, but it's...
So how do they answer?
So it's suggested. I actually, in the music video, I wanted to showcase that in an artistic way, so I got dancers to kind of like lyrically dance a fight.
Gotcha.
In the music video, so check it out on YouTube.
So wait, here she goes, compartmentalizing, moving on, and camera. So no, wait. So how did you get out? How did you find the strength and the power to say, you know what, is enough.
My mom slammed the door down.
What do you mean?
and grabbed me out of there and yanked me out of there, because I was continuing to forgive it.
And she told you no more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, it wasn't like an ongoing...
Yeah. No, it's okay.
It wasn't like an ongoing thing, but it got really bad one night. And I needed to be rescued.
How important is your support system to you?
So important. So important. I'd be nowhere without them. Like, literally... I think my parents have supported me through some really dark times, really dark corners of like the am I gonna make it eras, you know, of those dark starving artist times, you know, of those dark moments where you go into the crevices you didn't think you were gonna go to try to build, you know. My parents have supported me and they never gave up on me. And my friends, even though I wasn't around for special events because I was in the studio and prioritizing myself and following this selfish goal, they never let go of me. So they're stuck with me because I'm never letting go of them.
But that's awesome though, right? How these people can really carry you through tough times and know that even if you can't always, you're like you said, it's a selfish pursuit.
Yeah.
It's a selfish pursuit, but it's also going to give you the ability to stand on a platform and help people when you become vulnerable.
When I become vulnerable.
When you become vulnerable.
And
right?
when people are listening, and now people are listening, which feels great because it's all I ever wanted.
But people wouldn't be listening now if you hadn't made all these sacrifices, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. It all built up to this. Every time I thought I was almost about to make it and I didn't make it, it just added to the story that I'm able to tell now.
How have it? So, and I've seen it. I've already seen it. But how have you been able to still push through when you think you're gonna make it, and then there's a letdown, and you think you're getting to the mountaintop, and again there's a letdown? How do you still strive to move forward? Because a lot of people quit. A lot of people give up.
Because they don't want it.
Goes back to that.
Because they don't want it.
Gotcha.
They don't want it bad enough. They want other things also.
What do you? Okay. What do you mean by that?
I want to be a mom.
Okay.
I want to be a mom, and I've said I've wanted to be a mom more than I want to be a singer. But I don't want to be a mom that bad yet.
Okay.
If I wanted to be a mom, I could be a mom. I'd figure it out.
Yeah.
I'd be a mom. But I don't want it that bad yet. Right now, I also want to run. I would love to run a marathon. I don't want it that bad.
I would tell you to stick to a half marathon.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm running now. I really like running. It's helped me a lot, just like with my stress and like just my stamina on stage. And I love it. I love it. But is it in my top priority to be a marathon athlete? No, because there are other things I want to do more. I want to do a lot of things. We all want to do things. But you commit to something. And I committed to be this for the rest of my life. So whatever capacity, even if I get knocked down, but I'm gonna keep me down, not get knocked down. That's my dad's theme song. But
that's an awesome theme song.
That's the best theme song.
Yeah.
I grew up with that song. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, you're gonna keep getting up.
I'm gonna keep getting up.
But what I interpreted from what you said just a second ago with like people want something else, was that sometimes people are chasing this dream, but really it's to get things, to get noticed, to get a Lamborghini, to get a nice condo. But I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you pursue this passion because you love it, because you love singing, you love performing. And I think that's very different than somebody who's doing something to get something afterwards for that secondary gain.
I think the idea of fame is also a very seductive concept.
And you've tasted it.
Yeah, for sure. In fleeting moments of fame.
No, when you were on Reina De La Cancion, you were blowing up.
For sure. For
Right?
sure. I was receiving a lot of love from strangers on the internet in all corners of the world. And it's amazing to just receive love. Like imagine spending 3 hours on your inbox just sorting through people sending you essays with just love, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
But it can be deceiving too, right? Because then all of a sudden, when you're not in the limelight anymore, and you're not on Reina De La Cancion, it goes away.
So 2020.
So 2020.
Cue 2020.
Lights off.
Lights off. What are you gonna do? I didn't have my deal with Pitt yet.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything. The girl who won the show got a contract with Sony. The secondary one was getting a contract with Sergio George.
I was so mad. I'm gonna say this right. I was so mad. Like I'm gonna be real. So I'm gonna speak for me as a fan. I was pissed off. All right.
Everybody was pissed off.
I was pissed off. Daddy Yankee.
They're pissed off in front of me. I'm sure in front of the other girl, they're like, "Oh my God, you were the one."
No. Daddy Yankee. Okay, I need this camera right here. Daddy Yankee, you're great, bro. Toda la gasolina, whatever you want. But this was your girl, and you passed her up. I'm just saying, but I'll carry on. Thanks.
It's all right. I got picked up.
That's right.
I got picked up shortly after.
By Mr. Worldwide.
Vamos a what?
Shit.
So it's been a good ride. It's been a scary ride, you know, because you get those fleeting moments of fame and that hype and that excitement and the momentum, and then it's like lights out. There's no shows. You tore your ACL. You have to recover. Everybody's in a pandemic. Nothing's happening. Oh, what? So okay. So does anybody want to make music? No, nobody wants to get in the studio with you because of COVID. Okay, so how do I make music? So what am I gonna do with my time? What am I gonna do?
What did you do?
Well, I
You recovered?
I recovered from my ACL. I was doing PT like 3 days a week, so that was my outing. It was essential.
It was essential.
It was essential.
I like that.
It was essential. And I just locked myself in my room and I learned how to record myself. Because I didn't know how to record myself before. I always had to like rely on a dude to open the studio for me, to turn on the machine for me, to record me. But there was just it's not even that like nobody wanted. It's just nobody was around, so I couldn't. You couldn't meet up with people and have a studio session. So I wanted to make music, and I just put myself to the test and kind of like learned. Oh, that was the other thing. They gave me access to Pitt Studio. So Hector, our friend, sold the studio.
Wait. Shout out to Hector Mendez.
That's
my boy
Shout
since childhood.
He managed me for 5 years.
Yeah.
Very long time.
Yeah.
And he owned a studio in Miami Lakes that he was trying to get off his hands and move on to other projects, which I lo felicito. Mm-hmm. And he sold the studio to Pitbull and his team. A family member of Pitbull's I've been very good friends with for a long time. And at a lunch or a dinner or something with an executive from Univision, they brought up my name. She brought up my name, and he was like, he spoke very well of me, you know? So that's just because of that organic conversation, not like I was like, hey, set up the meeting. Well, I did after that after she told me that conversation happened, I said, set up the meeting.
Yeah.
Set up the meeting.
Let's do this. It's time.
It's time.
Good.
But they just all they did was, it's not like they handed me a golden contract like, here you go. They opened their doors to the studio for me, but again, nobody wanted to have studio sessions, so I learned how to record myself, and I just showed up every day, and I just locked myself in the room and I learned and I tried, and some stuff was whack, some stuff was cool.
Was this and you were alone by yourself?
Alone with a cast and my crutches, literally. Well, not a cast, a brace.
No, but this is what I love about artists. Not the cast and the brace. What I love about artists, and I've talked to, this is a third artist I speak to. 2 of them are painters, and you're the first musician, the first singer. The amount of hours that any artist spends alone practicing their craft. Like, you see a dude on a corner playing a violin, and you're like, wow, he's tearing it up. He's doing that publicly now. But how many tens of thousands of hours has he spent on his own? And so I love that, because I struggle, like, so I'm a photographer. I'm trying to own this right now, Vikina. Okay?
You are a photographer.
I'm trying to own it.
You are?
My first show was last week, but I'm really trying to own it.
Own it.
I've struggled with it. But I'm a photographer, and I've spent so many hours where nobody cared about my work.
Nobody cares.
And it's true. Exactly what you said earlier to the girls in the front, to Elvie, I could relate 100%.
Yeah.
Because if I stopped taking pictures today, nobody cares. The only reason people started to care about my pictures was when the protest happened in Cuba, and my pictures started to fly around. I went to Cuba for myself.
Yeah.
I went to Cuba to understand myself, my roots, who I am, who my family is, why we left, like all these things. And so I knew the hours that I spent by myself. Did I think it was cool to get a little bit of shine? I did. I was like, oh, cool. All right. It's about time somebody sees this, right? And it's the same for you. Like, you probably spent so many hours by yourself.
You know how long it took me to learn how to do the telephone vocal?
Wait, what's the telephone
Like, you
vocal?
know, like on a song where they hear like, hello.
Oh, yeah. And then, how did you do it? Like that? Just. Oh.
No, there's filters. There's like filters and things that you can go in and modify to make your voice sound like that. And I'm learning these things.
I'm thinking about a Boyz II Men song where he's like, yeah, baby, it's me.
786.
Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. I know what you're talking
exactly
about.
like that. That's a telephone vocal. It's There's a telephone vocal in most of my songs. It's the only plugin I know how to use. It's the only.
So every song of yours is gonna
My
have
next
a
album is gonna. They're all
all of
gonna
them.
have a telephone vocal. When you hear it, just be like, just laugh because you know. Yo me metí 2 o 3 YouTube tutorials.
And you learned how to do that telephone voiceover.
And I learned.
Next time, get a styrofoam cup, poke holes in the back of it, and just speak into the mic.
Hello.
So let me ask you this. The music industry is cutthroat. It's super competitive, right? What are some things that you absolutely love about it? And what are some things that you absolutely hate about it? Esto está heavy. Esto está heavy.
Está heavy.
The Jeopardy theme song.
Well, I think. I love. I feel like I'm contradicting what I said earlier, but I do love the human connections
Of course.
that I'm making with people, and like people that just tell me that they've like followed me for years, and when I used to do little videos on Instagram where I would do harmonies and like different squares, and they're like, I followed you for years. I'm like, really? You followed that? You watched that? So those human connections that I'm able to make it's probably, I think, my favorite part. And I think that the part I hate the most is that when I'm like rushing around and I'm so preoccupied with so many things, and being a small team, having only a small team, you get signed with a record label, you still have a small team, you're still crunching numbers, you're still on a budget, you're still, running around trying to do too many things for what you do, right? Because now I have a small team, but now I want dancers, I want a light show, I want this, I want that. I'm thinking Beyonce,
Yeah, you're thinking big.
I'm thinking all of the things that I want for my show to make it cool. I want how much is a CO2 gun? Can we rent one? Like, I'm thinking about these things.
Cool. No, that's cool.
I'm thinking about these things, but then I'm unable to make real, genuine connections with people because my mind is on managing so many moving parts, I feel like sometimes. And I feel like it's all moving really fast, and I'm trying my best to sit back and enjoy it. But I think most people struggle with this, like always being thinking about like what's next, right? So that's where our heads are always at, and I'm just trying to live in the moment and enjoy it for what it is. The industry itself, I think I love the moment that women are having right now. I'm not going to talk about how it's so hard for women in this industry and stuff. I just feel like it's not that the conversation is played out. It's that I don't like victimizing myself.
I hear you 100%.
Don't like it. I love that women are banding together because I feel like men band together all the time. And I love that women are doing that now. And I think that us together are able to kind of open up bigger doors. But I love being a woman. I've been able to utilize that to my advantage. Like if they opened the door because I was cute, I brought my own blunt and I kept it open because of my talent.
Gotcha. It's your talent. It's your
Yeah,
skill. It's
for
your
sure.
skill that brings you to the table.
For
It's not
sure.
because you're cute.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cute girls out there. There's a lot of good-looking women out there. If you didn't have skill, then you wouldn't be sitting at the table.
No, that's not true.
What do
They
you mean?
invite people to the table for looks. They invite people to the table that they like to have around.
But it doesn't mean that they actually want to do business with them. That's a different story.
No, not until you're there in the back of the room singing a melody and they're like, oh, that's dope.
Oh, what's that? Who's that?
Exactly.
Who's singing right now?
Oh, I thought she was your girl. Oh,
That's awesome.
That's probably the part that I hate about it is having to prove myself. I think probably twice as hard as other men. I don't want to victimize myself. I don't like saying that, but I feel like we have to work a little bit harder to get that respect in the room,
And you
to
think
take command of the room.
Gotcha. Like to really get that respect that I could see it.
Because I feel like even just with anybody, like I'm not even just being a woman or just being a new person in the room in general, you want to respect the power, division of power. You don't want to kind of like take control of a session that's not yours.
Yeah.
But you also want to seize the opportunity. You want to show them you're not like a flower on the wall.
And I do feel like when women speak up, sometimes it's like
They're like,
yeah, who's this? Why is she saying that?
yeah, like,
And
or
if
like
it was
I'll throw like, oh, why don't we say humans of New York? And they're like, the New York humans, right? And I'm like,
You know what's cool? My office right now is all female. I'm the only dude in here. And honestly, the women run this. Hey,
do you feel like the outcast sometimes?
no, I'm good with it. I'm
Okay,
comfortable in my skin, so I'm good.
Good.
But I
I'm
love.
curious. I don't.
No. And then you could ask for whatever you want. These women come with great ideas, and I'm trying to program my mind to not just shut down any ideas. Like I need to be receptive, right? I need to hear them out.
Yeah, I actively try to do that too.
And it's hard though, because sometimes your brain just wants to say, no. Now with certain color schemes and nonsense on social media, whatever, but that's a different story. It's an internal struggle we have here. Yeah.
Colors. Well, art is very subjective, and
Color schemes on Instagram nobody cares about, but Maria Paula's gonna hear this. She's gonna be like, yes, everybody cares about the aesthetic look.
oh, I struggle with that with my team too. I have two female managers for the first time. My team is pretty much all females also, and
Awesome.
it's fucking epic. It's awesome. I mean, it's different. It's been a new struggle because I feel all of the territory that comes with women is that we're very detail oriented. We also tend to take things personally, and we're very emotionally charged, and all of the obstacles that come with working with women. But that detail, that attention to detail,
It's so important.
so important. And I struggle with them because they're like, oh, you know, the grid, what's your grid gonna look like? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. How can I tell you what my 8-day grid is gonna look like? I don't know.
Yeah. It's like my
I'm
grid.
like-
I'm like,
My
this is me, right?
like 9 grid, I
Like,
can't.
they were posting pink, and he's like, but I want to do blue.
Yeah, I'm like, who cares about what color it is? This is what we need to post today,
It's
guys.
a flow. It's a flow.
Nah, whatever. Whatever. Don't even start. We'll fight right here, Vikina. Don't go at it. All right.
It's a picture and then a quote.
So I wrote this.
Picture and then a
That's
quote.
fine. Whatever. I wrote this earlier. You're strong. You're confident. You're beautiful, and that's what people see. Does Vikina have insecurities or self-doubt?
Yeah, of course. Everybody has insecurities and self-doubt. And I'm trying to get better at showing that to people.
What are some of the insecurities that you have?
Well, I think that my career has always probably been my driving insecurity. Like, yes, I've reached a certain level of success at this point now, which is the first time that I'm really feeling like, I'm doing things.
And now is when you're feeling that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because even Reina just felt very surreal, very much like a dream. It was like a whirlwind. I think that my insecurities come with my appearance and stuff, and the harsh criticism that people on camera get on a regular basis. I went to a fitting the other day recently for a commercial, and I put my size, that I was a size 5. And I was like, and I remember the stylist kind of being like, oh yeah, because you said that you were a 5. And I was like what? You don't have 5s? Like,
You don't have a 5
you don't
plus?
have 5. Like, it's not, you know, and it's so bizarre that even just a statement like that stuck to me.
Of course.
And it stuck in my head for 2, 3, 4 days after. I'm like, is like a 5 a lot? I don't think it's a lot. But like just those statements that you deal with on a regular basis and just have to kind of eat and just keep going and still feel beautiful. And this morning I went out and I went on a run, and because not just for my aesthetic appearance, but because I want to feel good and I want to feel healthy and feel good on stage. But my insecurities when I'm on stage and I'm connecting with people and I'm like, oh my God, and I see somebody kind of like talk like that to somebody, I'm like, are they talking shit about me? You know, those moments of insecurity happens all the time. I post a video singing on Instagram, and I'm riddled with insecurity, with the insecurity of, are people gonna like it?
Wow.
I live life on this ledge, and I've forced myself to be comfortable with it. Comfortably insecure.
Hey, I see it, because you have to be comfortable with the insecurity in order to put yourself out there. And part of who you are has to be exposing yourself to the public. Otherwise, what, you're just gonna be in your closet singing.
Yeah. I have to be okay with the fact that not everybody's gonna like me, or that somebody in the crowd is not gonna like my voice or like my music, and be okay with that, you know. The nasty comments or stuff that I'll get randomly, you know, like, you know what I think to myself? I'm like, these people are so sad and bored with their lives.
They have nothing better.
They have nothing better to do than to sit and just spew hate. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you. I have better things to do. Like, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I learned that.
Yeah.
I learned that. But we all are insecure on a regular basis. I don't think that anybody on this planet is not insecure.
Yeah. I mean, we all have insecurities.
The most secure person that you'll see in the world. I'm sure Donald Trump has his insecurity.
No, I mean, look, me. I injured my. I told you before we jumped on that I'm having surgery on my chest, which is huge, right?
Huge.
But I'm missing half a tit basically because I tore my pec tendon, and so when I flex, it comes in. But I caught myself, and every once in a while I'll put it out there on Instagram, and I'll be like, "This is how the left side looks." But this is how the right side looks, because I caught myself constantly throwing a towel over my right shoulder and flexing for the gram.
Oh, wow.
But hiding it. And so masking my insecurity. But then I got to be real. And I got to say, you know what? This is a defect that happened to me.
Yeah, as a result of an injury.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
And the same way, some women have breast augmentation and they're left with ugly scars, or their body rejects a breast implant, or somebody's born with a deformity, or we have a birthmark, and we have to recognize that, hey, we have an insecurity as a result of this, and we call it body dysmorphia. You could say it's complejo, whatever you want to call it. But
and those are struggles that they didn't pick, you know. That's why I feel so superficial talking about my struggles and my career struggles, because I chose this struggle. And that's why I hate really like talking about, oh my God, I work so hard and this and that, because I chose this struggle, and people go through things like that that fell upon them, and that's sometimes really hard to accept. And I feel like God has spared me from some really tough moments like that, because what I'm going through now is building me to be able to handle that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God gives his toughest battles to the strongest warriors and things like that. Everybody's got their own unique struggle.
Everybody has a struggle.
Everybody has their
And
struggle.
that's part of the reason why I made this podcast, was because I think that we're not vulnerable enough. And on Instagram, we're constantly putting out
the wins
and the highlight reels. But damn, if we show these losses, we can make an impact on the world. We can make an impact on all these people. I don't know how many followers you have. I got like 6,000 something. And my hope, even though Instagram is shadow banning me, my hope is that whatever I put out is doing something to empower, to inspire, and to show somebody else that their vulnerability isn't their fucking kryptonite. Their vulnerability can help still propel them forward, can still help catapult them to another level. But damn, if we don't talk about it, then you know what? We don't have the power anymore. And I'm gonna start preaching in a second. We don't have the power anymore. We're giving that thing the power, and that shit just weighs us down. And so that's why I think it's important to just put our vulnerabilities out there and say, hey, this shit doesn't have power over me. I'm the one with the power. And here you go. Here it is, world. This is what I'm going through. This is my struggle. And this no longer has power. And I'm sure you're going through it too. Here you go.
Releasing it.
Have it because I don't need it.
That's probably one of the more beautiful parts of what I get to do with my art now too. It's just hard sometimes to like unpack things, and I find myself writing songs on a regular basis too that are like for fun.
Of course.
And they don't necessarily.
They don't have to though.
They
don't have to.
Yeah.
But when you feel it,
it's really nice.
When you feel it is when you gotta put it down.
Yeah.
You gotta put it down.
When you let one of those go, it's like a childbirth.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna ask you if you write your own music. You already answered that.
Well, I don't write all my songs. Sometimes if somebody was to present a song to me, like that bachata trap one, I didn't write a lick on that song. That's why I don't own not even a bite of it.
Yeah, I wish I did.
I wish I did. Lessons learned.
Yeah, it's okay.
Lessons learned. But that was a song that I just thought was really cool. I thought it was something that needed to be out there. I'm also like into sonic fusion too. Like what really drives me is like fusing sounds. Like what I'm doing right now is doing like EDM and like pop electronic music, but just doing it in Spanish. Like that's what I've been working on. 'Cause why not? I'm kind of low key over the reggaeton thing.
Really?
High key.
High key? Like
High key.
You just don't want to...
It's not that I molded myself to fit onto that lane, you know? And I love reggaeton. I love that music, but I'm not just that. I am definitely a pop music artist. I like dance music more than anything. Like if you threw me in a festival with multiple stages, I'd be at the EDM one.
Got you.
I mean, I'd go to the Latin one too, for sure. But I think that I also jumped into, I'm a vocal identity, right? And I don't want to be restricted by a genre. I've never wanted to be restricted by a genre. But if I gravitate to anything, it's definitely high energy stuff. That's where I can be on stage. That's where I can command the most energy. That's where I can have dancers and lights. So that's the kind of music I want to do. How I can continue to be vulnerable on that kind of music will be an interesting journey. You know, to not just make music that says nothing.
Yeah.
To be vulnerable. So I'm trying to do like an EDM dance remix to my song Animales to begin introducing this transition. But for me, sonically, why I'm choosing to go this way is just because I feel like the reggaeton thing it's had its moment, it's had its phase. And I think it's just time people want high energy music.
Does the label support that transition to EDM?
You'd be surprised that how long it took for them to get it. I'm like, but it's their big concern is like but it's not Latin, it's not urban. We want you Latin urban. I'm like, what makes it not Latin or urban?
Yeah, EDM is everywhere.
EDM, I'm urban.
Yeah.
I'm urban. I'm Latin on EDM.
Got you.
And they're like, but it's not like it's what playlist do we put it on? I'm like, there will be the playlist. We need to be the pioneers of the playlist. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm making music that I think is cool, that I think it's different, you know, and it's just about getting people on board. I think it's way more relevant to like who I am as a girl from Miami. You didn't just pick me up out of Puerto Rico or Colombia. I don't think I contribute anything to reggaeton that's not already being done. I think to dance music, I can contribute my Latin sass, my bravery, my self.
That's dope when an artist steps out into a different genre and everybody's kind of going against you. It
took a while. It took a while for them to get on it. Now they're like, oh, we're going to get you booked at Ultra. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Now they're into it. Now they see it because now I'm kind of like a new fish in that pond, which is exciting.
Like I'm thinking Kid Rock. I'm thinking like all these different artists who tapped into something
into dance,
different.
Yeah.
Like look at Linkin Park and Jay-Z teaming up. Like that was something. I feel like
I've spent enough time in the Latin industry to have like built something there. I mean, I'm no Shakira to be able to, or I'm no Selena to be doing a crossover, but like I've established that I am a Latin urban artist.
No, or if anything, you built your foundation.
I built my foundation there.
Yeah.
I'm a Latin urban artist, but now I'm doing it on dance. I'm being Latin, I'm being urban on dance. So it's fun. It's exciting. It's exciting when I get to play my music in a studio and people are like, oh, wow, that's cool. That's different. I wasn't getting those reactions when I was doing reggaeton because I don't think I brought anything special.
Gotcha.
That's the truth. I could do it. I could do it good. But it wasn't anything that was going to be groundbreaking and make me the next Rosalia. You think Rosalia sat there and tried to do what everybody else was doing?
No, she's doing her own thing.
No, she did her own thing. You know? And that's what is groundbreaking. But you have to kind of like pave that way. That you have to be the martyr.
And that's what you're ready to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to go pee real fast. I'm going to take a break real quick. That's all right. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Croqueta ASMR.
freaking shoes, bro. What is this? What is this?
These pants are too long, so whenever I wear them, I have to wear heels.
But what shoes are those?
They're Naked Wolf boots.
Oh, they're not Balenciaga. Look at the shoes. I mean, look at the socks.
And my space socks.
So dope.
Speaking of EDM.
An artist through and through, huh? For real?
Yeah, you know, you gotta live it, breathe it. You gotta believe it. If you don't believe it, nobody else is gonna believe it.
Oh, the glasses are coming back on. This scares me a little bit.
I'm the artist. I gave you some croqueta ASMR while you guys were gone.
Oh, did you?
Did you do all the bag?
She gets mad when I eat grapes during the podcast.
I don't get mad. It's just funny.
Because you hear it.
Then I hear him when I go to edit. I just hear.
She's like, why grapes? Out of everything, why grapes?
At least it's not apples.
Are you the cotton candy ones? I love the cotton candy ones.
You know what? I'm not a fan.
You're a mistake.
I am. My mom would agree with you. My mom would completely agree with you, but then she says she loves me now, so it's all good.
You're a mistake that went well.
I guess. I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure about that. It's
On the fence.
I'm on the fence
The
about
jury's out.
it. I'm on the fence about it. I went to the bathroom right now, and I was like, man, every time I make a podcast, it's like, I know it's just not going to get good to like episode 278 or something.
Oh.
But I get it. It's the same thing. It's like I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So who gives a shit? Right?
Exactly. Exactly. This is what you're doing on a Friday.
On a Friday in my office.
Yeah.
This is a work hour.
I'm actually trying to like do a monthly vlog, which I'm super late for February.
I'm like 3 months late.
I started January. Now I'm like 10 days late for February, but I might do like a joint just to document everything that I'm going through. Oh my God, that's my agent. That means I probably got another casting.
You want to get it?
Sure, why not?
Go ahead.
Hello. Dilo de nuevo, dilo de nuevo.
Spectrum, tenemos booking.
Tenemos booking. Tenemos booking. ¿Me dieron la de Claudia o la de la amiga?
¿Cuál crees tú?
She's got options.
De la Claudia. Principal role. Yeah. Oh my God, qué bueno, Sandra. We're on a roll. We're on a roll. Tú eres como decimos goals. Goals. Boss and goals.
Thank you.
Bueno, te voy a tener que soltar porque estoy grabando un podcast.
No, espérate, no me sueltes que necesito la información tuya. Espérate. ¿Y esta camiseta M? Digo S.
S.
Pantalón 2.
5.
5, ay, creí que era más delgadita. No te ves ni 5'5". Es que tú tienes cadera.
Ajá, es por la cadera.
Me encanta. Y si no tienes una flacuchenta. ¿Vestido? ¿Ese también?
Sí, S. En vestido soy 4, como entre 2 y 4, ya.
Listo. ¿Y zapatos?
8.5.
8.5.
So I get 10% for being part of this. I just want 10%. That's it. You know? That's all I'm asking for. So, espera, ¿eras un 5 por las caderas?
Un 5 por las caderas. You saw that?
Yeah.
When I told him my size, ay, pero me parecía mucho más delgada. I'm like, I am. But I have hips.
But
These
the
hips don't lie.
The hips don't lie.
And every time I'm like, and those little puyas. I'm like, thank you, but you know.
But let me tell you something. You turned it up with the fitness game.
Yeah. Well, I had no choice. My boyfriend's an athlete.
Oh, good.
Yeah. My boyfriend is a cyclist. So, and he's up at the ass crack of dawn every day, and it makes me feel bad when I'm sleeping until 8. And I'm like, so I get up and the gym is actually close to where we live. So I walk there, and I'm actually running outside now, which was unheard of. I would walk. This is how stupid I was. I would walk to the gym to run on the treadmill and walk back. I still do it, but I still do it.
It's okay.
Yeah. But I think running outside was always very scary to me because of all like the variables, and like I would be scared to injure myself because of my knee. But yeah, I've been working out a lot. Actually, he's really instilled that. I mean, when I see him waking up and riding bike, you know, many times a week, I'm like,
yeah, it inspires you, or it like peer pressures you to.
Yeah,
let me get my ass out of
totally.
bed.
Totally.
That's good.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel great. Actually, he's also put me onto like plant-based lifestyle too.
You're not eating meat?
I will eat a croqueta or two.
Okay.
I will eat. I can't say no. But for the most part, like I've just trained myself. Like my lunch portions, like we'll just put like bowls together, and it doesn't need meat.
Gotcha.
Doesn't need it at all. Like my breakfasts and stuff. Like I don't need the bacon. What do I need the bacon for? You know, I just have the same. I'll have the eggs still. He's actually weaning off of eggs, and I'm crying. But it's cool actually. I've really enjoyed it. I really feel a difference actually now when I have like red meat and chicken and stuff. It just feels way heavier on me.
Yeah, it feels. It's a lot lighter when you eat more plant-based. I mean,
More
don't
plant-based.
get me wrong. I eat meat.
Yeah,
but
no,
I've
for sure.
limited the amount of red meat that I consume.
I'm
That I have
limiting.
done.
I'm just limiting it. Like if 2 meals out of the day, it started with 1 meal a day. It started with like my lunch portion because we would often have lunch together. That it was no protein, no, or I hate that term, no animal protein. It's no, because there's plenty of protein in the plants.
You've been brainwashed.
I've
Go
been
ahead.
brainwashed.
I hear it. I
Yeah,
hear
I
it
know.
already.
But
You're gonna be that girl who walks in the room. I'm vegan.
I don't use that word. I don't use that word because I think it's very like, it's like, I just think it's has like a connotation to it.
Yeah.
I like plant-based better. I've been trained also.
So from your own perspective in your mind, how do you handle comparisons? Like you've been in this grind for a long time, right? How many years have you been?
I would say I've been doing it for over 10 years. I started writing my first song at 17. I am 30 now.
Gotcha. So how do you handle comparisons when you see this new artist come up and just blow up?
Oh my God, envious. I'm so envious.
Yeah.
Of course, naturally. That's natural. That's a natural reaction
And
for
I'm glad
anybody.
you're honest about it.
Yeah, for sure. For anybody that just comes up from one day to the next, it's natural to have that envy. I'm sure people are going to discover me on this podcast and be like, oh, she just started out of nowhere, probably, you know? But everybody puts in their hours. It takes 10,000 hours to become an expert, or 10 years, they say. So I've put in my work. I've put in my time. So now when the opportunity presented itself, it wasn't like I just arrived and I was like, great, thank you. I'm seizing it. I know how to seize it. I know how to utilize the platform that I have now that I have it. 10 years ago, I probably would not have.
Yeah. How those, like, you just got a phone call. You landed a deal. I will blur out the amount, whatever, it doesn't matter. But how does that feel now compared to before? Because now I almost felt like it was like, all right, cool, I landed another one, right?
Yeah.
But had you got the same phone call 5 years ago?
Oh yeah, I would have been like, that would have been, my whole week would have been around that gig. My whole month would have been around that gig. But now it's just my Wednesday. And it's nuts that I get to live this life now. Like this is what I thought I was about to accomplish at the end of 2019, at the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic hit. And then like it all was on pause, and it was all like, is it going to happen? Am I going to be able to close this deal with Pitt? Am I going to be able to release music? Are there going to be festivals for me to perform at? Now there's festivals and stuff for me to perform at. Now there's more events where people are getting together. And that's the thing, is that my industry is very conducive on people getting together.
Getting together, absolutely.
Whether it's at clubs or venues or events and what have it, you know? I mean, you can listen to music from your iPod and stuff at home, for sure. That's a huge aspect of it. But promoting yourself, I mean, I love being in the studio, but I want to be on stage. It's what I signed up for. That's what I like. So being able to put new shows together on a regular basis, to have rehearsals with my dancers, to have a Wednesday morning available to do a self-tape audition, and I just self-tape auditioned myself in my room, and I sent it to my agent, and then they wanted me, they called me, they booked me. Now I get to do an acting gig next week, and probably the other days of next week I'll be in the studio. And that's the life that I get to live now, because I put in the 10 years of work, you know? So when somebody else it gets handed to them, I try to orient myself, because initially there's going to be natural envy, but there's always a story. There's always a story. So I compare myself regularly, but it's not because I want to be better. It's always because I want to be different. If somebody else is doing it, I don't want to do it. And I've always been like that with anything. Like my yellow beetle. I just wanted to be different. I've never wanted to be the same as anybody else. If everybody's doing reggaeton, I'm bored of it. If everybody's doing dance music, I will soon become bored of it and figure out how to be Latina, sassy on rock.
So you're just constantly reinventing yourself because you don't want to follow the norms that everybody else is setting.
That's my life's goal.
That's awesome. You're a leader.
Literally, like my life's work is to do things differently. Try my best to go against the grain. Go along the grain enough to get the attention and get the platform, but then to try just bring a different ideas to the table. That's why, like, I am a champion for women and this whole, like, women's movement and women's month and stuff. But I'm also, like, I love to play devil's advocate because I hate using that victimization card as a crutch, or even
because then it becomes a handicap, and then you just always view yourself as disabled.
As this disabled person. I'm like, no, I'm powerful. You know how much I've gotten away with because I'm a beautiful woman? God bless. I'm lucky. I was born Latina. That's like winning the lottery.
You're right. No, you're right. The power that women have is huge. If you use it correctly.
If you use it correctly. If you know how to use it and not be a victim to it.
So how does a Latina woman navigate social media and everything that comes with? I know that you've
I should be posting way more culo pictures. That's what I should be doing. But I don't.
Why? Why do you say that? Why?
Because it's not in me. It's not in me. I don't seek that kind of approval. And I'm putting myself out there in so many other ways, you know, with my music and stuff. But also I'm I'm just.
But culo pics get clicks and they get likes.
Culo pics get clicks and they get likes. And sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, my God, maybe I need to be posting more like that to try to get the engagement and the clickbait and stuff like that.
But then they're liking you for your ass and not for your music.
My music. But hey, who knows? Those are the people that'll pay $20 for a T-shirt, I guess. You know. So it's definitely like
it's a catch-22, yeah.
It's a catch-22. Actually, it's so funny. Yesterday, me and my boyfriend woke up, and one of his first thoughts was like, "Babe, I think you need to have hard nipples in your
shots,
in your Instagram shots."
It's a game changer.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "This girl that I follow, she doesn't do anything. She just posts working out, and her nipples are always hard. And I think that's why she gets engaged." And I'm like, "I think you're my soulmate." Yeah. First of all, I think that this is the partner God sent for me, but I don't want to. Like I don't.
But I think you're right.
But I think, like it doesn't. No me nace.
That's good. Though.
No me nace to be like that. So when I do, it's like my semi-annual culo pic. That's all you ever get. My semi-annual.
So we get semi-annual culo pics.
Annual culo pics.
How far up do I have to scroll? So
6 months.
6 months.
Every 6 months to a year.
You gotta earn it.
You gotta scroll, and I post a lot.
So you might even miss it if you scroll too fast.
You might even miss it.
You gotta earn it. If you want Vikina, so that's the news breaking right here. If you want Vikina's ass pics, then you gotta earn it.
You gotta earn it. You gotta
really scroll for it.
Yeah, we have a poll. Where's the poll? If you guys want the semi-annual Vikina culo pic to come early, swipe up.
I'm done. I think that's where we finish off, no?
Yeah, I think that's an ending.
All right. For real, I want to say thank you for coming through. I've been following you on your journey for a long time. I respect you as an artist, as a Latina woman who's grinding, but more than anything, as a person with a huge heart, a huge sense of humor. Who is brave and spontaneous and adventurous and funny and sassy.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming through. I know you got a busy schedule, so it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And I'm going to shake your hand because I have to.
Code protocols.
Yeah, we don't need no social distancing. I have a sign, actually. It's back there. I'll show you afterwards. I stole it from South Beach.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I love doing this. I love opening up. Thank you for asking me questions I don't get to answer on other interviews.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Ciao. Hasta luego.
Ciao. Bye. Bye. PerraCoin to the moon.
Oh, yeah. I didn't ask you about PerraCoin, but it's okay.
There's so much to talk about.